Hi folks, Chris Voss here from the chrisvossshow.com, the chrisvossshow.com. Be sure to check back daily, right? The thing I want to talk to you about today, this is really important, and I identified this when I was growing up. And if you've gone to the Chris Voss Show, the videos, the things I've shared with you, learning to think out of the box, learning to think outside of paradigms that are self-limiting, learning to question and be able to think from two different ends of a spectrum are very important. There used to be this world, kind of a Levittown IBM Man world, where you'd kiss Miss Cleaver on the cheek, run off to your IBM job, you all dressed in black, and you lived for 40 years, and 60 years you worked, and at the end you got a nice little gold watch and a beautiful retirement package, and you probably worked at the same place for 40, 50, 60 years, whatever. That, of course, was blown apart largely, I think, about in the 80s when things started falling apart with unions of steel mills and some of the manufacturing bases that we had in America. And things started to become more cyclical and more, what's the words I'm looking for? More dynamic in the way of where things will renew themselves and things would change and things would expire and things would become new in different elements, and the strategy became constantly changing now, and it was very hard for people. I remember in the 80s it was hard for people that had lived their whole life counting from childbirth that you go to work for the union, you go to work for the steel mill, you go work for the coal mine, you go to work for the manufacturing company or car company, that you just work there, you can go robotics for the rest of your life and wake up, everything was fine. You had the June Klieger for family, your wife didn't work, you had the whole nuclear family thing down. That has been obliterated now more than ever, and will continue to be so now more than ever. The nanosecond world of quick changes, of different opportunities changing, things ending much quicker, are so much more important. If you watch the videos, what is it, Who Moved My Cheese? That cycle is changing so much more, and things are disappearing and reappearing as they were. So in talking about this, it's very important you realize what dynamic you're using when you're building your life and building your expectations and building what you think things go. Unfortunately, for the past 20 years, I see a lot of people that think we're still living in that June Cleaver world, that Leave It to Beaver world, and we're not. And it's very stupid to have that element go on. So what I would encourage you to do is the topic of this forum is, of course, learning to live on revenue streams or creating multiple revenue streams to live on. Get out of the mindset of the job, okay? There's so many people, and it just makes me sick in this world. There's so many people that just go to a job like a sheep and go, I will go to my job. The trick is to get a job. There's a real problem with what parents teach their children in today's world, and they teach children to be poor. They teach children that go to college, and then if you get a college, you'll get a good job. Yeah, and it'll all work out. Well, in today's world, it's not working out. In today's economy, it's not working out. Okay, I see more people. I even see people that are doctors that are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in these student loans. And they might be making $100,000, $200,000 a year, but they're paying $60,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year to service their student loans. So it starts to become real diminished efforts when you look at it over the long-term scale. And these elements are killing America. And as parents, unfortunately, these people don't know much about earning money, about making money, about investing, building companies, and so they just teach their kids to just go back into the same cheese maze, to go back into the same hamster wheel. Okay, there's nothing wrong with working for a company. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having a job. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go do the 9-to-5 thing. There's nothing wrong with that at all. What I am going to impart to you here is that you need to invest in other strategies. You need to invest in what I call other revenue streams. One of the most important things you can do is have other revenue streams going in your life. Have other backups. Have other investments. Be an entrepreneur. Okay, I've talked about how important it is to control your life and to be in businesses so that you're in control. Don't be waiting. Don't be putting all your eggs in one basket going, if I get fired today, I have no other income. Okay? Take control of your life. Life is a game that you have to control. You can't sit there and wait for some sort of invisible being or some sort of luck chance of dice to take and do. You know how many people that I meet that have this disgusting attitude in life, that they have three chances in life. One is to sue someone over an accident, two is to win the lottery, and three is to get an inheritance from their parents. And that's their sick fucking retirement plan. Trying to get through to you. Okay? It's a stupid retirement plan. Make your retirement plan happen. Now, I started a lot of companies. When you're a serial entrepreneur, you have to start a lot of companies. And keep in mind, when I say companies, when I say being a successful entrepreneur, I'm talking about just not some shithead who bought a business license. That does not make you a successful entrepreneur. You're probably not a successful entrepreneur in my mind until you've hired a bunch of employees and they do the work for you while you sit around and drink daiquiris. Now, it's not always that easy, but for the most part, if you can get people to work for your company and do the work. I've had companies that I've had for 13, 15 years where I had no idea how the front end worked. I just had enough employees that would always keep training the people on the front end, or I'd hire employees to train them on the front end, which was very ironic for me because I'd be like, I hope I always have enough employees to fill that void because I have no idea how to do that segment of the business. Multiple revenue streams. Get outside of the box. Don't just think, I have a job and then I go home. Okay? Get something beyond your job. Get other revenue streams going. Quit wasting time. Now, you do have to spend time, of course, I'm sure, with your family, but quit wasting time with video games. There's times where you can do stuff. There's lunch breaks. There's probably a million hours that I can find in your life that you're just wasting time that you could use to reinvest that time. And that's what I've always done. I mean, there's been times, you talk to my last two girlfriends, they're usually very upset with me because I'll sneak out of the bed in the middle of the night and I'll go work, because that's the time where I can get stuff done and no one's going to bother me. And it's the most important time for me to build what I do. So, welcome to life. If you don't take control of it, you're just a victim. You're just a cattle in the little thing, okay? Revenue streams are the most important thing. I want you to put this in your vocabulary. Revenue streams, and start thinking about it and get that subconscious mind going. When we started my first, there was my first successful company at 18, and that went pretty good for a few years, but it was in construction, very hard business. So then we started a few little businesses that we try to make work, and this is the real key. You don't know what's going to work. Most serial entrepreneurs are starting a lot of businesses. You don't know sometimes what's going to catch, what's going to kick, what's going to turn on. I've talked before about how sometimes you invest in different things and all of a sudden in one business the lights go on. Twitter is probably one of those examples where they were actually doing another company and they did this Twitter as a side project and suddenly Twitter becomes the game. Revenue streams are very important to think of. Now, I'm not talking about multi-level marketing here. Go to my post on multi-level marketing if you think that's what I'm talking about. But with revenue streams, we started my first company, and then a year and a half later, we started a second company, and then within that year, we started a third company. And we ran 3 core companies for a good 13 years, and we were always creating and investing in new companies, trying to invest outside of ourselves and get other enterprises going. We reached a point where we just loan money or put in ads to loan money and take over companies' businesses to get into them. I mean, I've been in everything from owning mall stores to franchising to, or owning, there's like, 15 or 20 different industries that I've owned an interest in. So having that frame of mind is so important. From, I guess, about the age of 22, I've had at least 3 revenue streams, 3 different paychecks that can come in. After about 2004, it expanded to about 5 or 6 different revenue streams at any given moment, where I have different checks that can come in from different entities. And a lot of my job, a lot of my life is I run around, and you remember that you've ever seen the plate spinner, and he runs down the row of spinning plates and makes sure they all spin. That's kind of my job. Now, for a lot of people, that can be overwhelming, but your brain can do anything it wants to, if it really wants to. So you just learn to do it. You learn to master it. You learn to spin the plates. Now I'm in an age where I can spin the plates in my sleep. It's not that hard. It's very easy. I don't think that it's hard too. That's one of the other things. If you believe it's hard, you're probably not going to be able to pull it off. But think about creating more than one revenue stream. You never know. I was talking to a guy the other day, giving him some counseling, and he's stuck in a dead-end job. And he's providing for his family, and there's a very honorable aspect to that. But he so passionately wants to go and pursue art and what he does. And he actually does art very well, which means he should pursue it. So I said, look, let it go. Try and make it work. Fit it into your time schedules. Now with the mobile world, you guys can achieve so much more than I ever could back in the days when we created our companies. I mean, it's just silly what you guys can pull off now. I mean, a mobile world can connect you with everything and what you need to do, with the outsourcing that's out there, with the internet. I mean, we created all this hard work back in the 90s. We kind of had the internet. It was Prodigy and CompuServe. It was crazy. So think in multiple revenue streams. Think about creating them. Don't focus on starting one business. Kind of start that business, get it going down the hedge. Maybe focus on starting a little one. Maybe, the great thing about the web is you can create little websites, you can do little things. I remember I was full force in all my companies. I had this idea for a little fashion company for little tops and shorts, kind of like the Porn Star, I think it was, clothing line, where you create these little tops for girls and lingerie. And so we launched that. And I launched it as a side project, as a website, and just put it out there and gave it some leg room, gave it some money, let it run for a while, see what it would do, give it a chance to turn a profit. You never know what's going to catch and what's not going to catch. So invest in multiple revenue streams, but make sure you control them all. I wouldn't do multi-level marketing. Invest in something you control. Invest in something that you control the rules to. And get out of the mindset of, if I go and get a job, I'll be successful. Bullshit. There's so many people there's so many companies going out of business. There's so many economies overturning now at an alarming rate. There's so many different dynamics that are changing in manufacturing, service, product, retail, everything else. You have to be divesting into other things. If you've got a wife, get the wife doing one thing and you doing another thing. Okay? Get her doing some businesses and going on. Get the kids doing businesses and going on. I just watched a thing where a 16-year-old kid just made $1 million in his first company over in England, and he just started building websites when he was like 12 or 13. Get your kids into being entrepreneurs. I've talked about how you should have your entrepreneurs you should have kids in college, they should rewrite our education standards in college things where we teach kids to be entrepreneurs. Teach your kids to be entrepreneurs. Teach them to make money. Don't teach them the 1940 model that says if you go learn something and get a job, it'll all work out. It will not. Okay? How many jobs have you been through in your life? How many jobs did your grandfather go through in his life? Big difference. Okay? Recognize what's going on. Recognize too that it's going to start turning faster. It's going to get crazier. It's going to get wilder. Things are going to change, disappear, go, whatever. The cycles for successful business are becoming shorter and shorter, especially in different technologies and different interests on the web. So you've got to constantly go, where's the new thing? Where's the new venue? Where's the new frontier? Sometimes it's an old frontier. You just need to innovate it. Like maybe you just need to build a better toilet. Invest in different revenue streams. I mean, I can't tell you how nice it has been for all of my life to have multiple revenue streams where there's money coming in. Sometimes they all went dead in different recessions, and sometimes I had to go out and recreate new ones. But the fact that I always keep investing in different things is the most important. It's becoming more and more of an entrepreneuristic world. Okay, if you don't own it, if you don't make it, you don't control it, you're just a cog in the wheel. Okay, there's nothing to say it's wrong about a 9-to-5 job. Just get 2 more revenue streams at night, and maybe they'll replace your 9-to-5 job, and maybe you'll get to be the boss. And that's really where the nice place can be for you, because the only person who can usually fire you at that point is yourself. Thanks for coming by the Chris Voss Show.com. Check in daily because I always put up new stuff. Bye-bye.